Facebook and YouTube Live. At this time, I'd like to recognize my executive assistant, Mary Buer.
Thank you. Public comment will be accepted through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. The comment length is dictated by the limitations of the platform being used, Teams, Q&A, Facebook, or YouTube. The meeting comment period is limited to 30 minutes in total. Please be concise. Comments will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Thank you very much, Mary. As always, we will begin with a moment of silence followed by a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're very pleased today to have representatives of the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance with us to provide an update. The lead presenter today will be Erin Gantz. She is the Senior Director of Economic Development for GRCA, but she's also joined by Jim Gerlach, who is the President and CEO of GRCA, as well as Deb Millman. And I guess we have to congratulate Deb Millman. It was just announced actually in the paper today and within the last day or so that she is taking over for the retiring Ed Swoyer, and she is the new president and CEO of the Greater Berks Development Fund. And at this time, I want to welcome Erin Gantz. Erin?
Thank you, Commissioner. And I'm going to let Deb just say a couple of words, if that's okay.
Sure. Thank you, Erin, and thank you, Commissioner, for your kind words and congratulations. And we would just like to, again, thank you for the opportunity to come to speak to you today. We're almost at the halfway point of the year, and we were able to put together kind of an update of where we stand with our economic development strategy, and we thought it would just be a great time to give you an update. And I know you have a jam-packed schedule, so we will try to move through it as quickly as possible. But thank you again for the time today. Go ahead, Erin.
Thanks. Just going to share my screen and we will get started. Can everyone see my screen? Just looking for confirmation.
Yes.
Okay. So the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance is focused on 4 strategic areas in terms of economic development, and that is business attraction, business retention and growth, and financing and real estate development. In January of this year, we launched an economic development campaign asking our target audience to select Greater Reading, grow here, thrive here. All campaign and ongoing digital elements point to a curated website or microsite, selectgreaterreading.com. Approximately 3 weeks ago, we launched another element of the campaign focused on specifically a small group of VIP site selectors. This campaign applies more of a relationship-based approach to site selectors in the local, regional, and national market. Economic development organizations traditionally provide one-dimensional information on website, local market research data, employment data, etc. But we know site selectors are really looking for relationship-based information as well. You know, that's things like who should they be speaking to that's an expert in a particular market in the area? Who are the business leaders? They want to have some of that inside information that our organization and our partners can provide. This is so we've created a separate site that also has it's behind a password for those VIP site selectors, and that's what it looks like. So this, what you're looking at is greaterreadingsites.com screenshot, and this is our commercial and industrial property database. This is a really important tool for both our attraction and retention work. And our goal is to have the most up-to-date commercial and industrial properties on the site. We currently have just under 100 properties listed. And this also feeds into pasitesearch.com, which is DCED's property site tool. And this is a tool, the only tool in Berks County that aggregates all active commercial and industrial properties in the county. So what are we seeing? Activity was a little slow in Q1, which was not unexpected, but it really has started to pick up throughout Q2 and as we're heading into the summer months. To date, we've responded to 29 inquiries, and these are the industries in which those inquiries have come from. So really, advanced manufacturing continues to lead the way, and I don't think that's surprising based on our industry base in Berks County. Of course, distribution continues to grow as well. So one of the projects on the attraction side that we've been working on is Duke Realty's Valley Logistics Park in Maxitoni Township. And the potential tenants include a well-established Berks County company and a national Fortune 20 company. The anticipated impact over the next 10 years is estimated to be over $29 million in tax revenue. Additionally, the project will spur the creation of over 1,000 well-paying jobs, and that will equal over $5.3 million in earned income tax revenue, and it's estimated $17 million to the Kutztown Area School District. And I just wanted to thank Pamela Ship-Mennett and Commissioner Barnhart for leading the way on the joint economic approval process for this project. So on the business retention side, this, the attraction piece of economic development often generates headlines, but it's really the existing Berks County companies and supporting them that's really critical to our community's growth. And ag is one of those really important industries that we've been supporting. And in collaboration with the Berks County Department of Agriculture, we've continued to publish monthly newsletters highlighting resources and relevant events for our ag industry-based companies in Berks County. We've also undertaken an agriculture-focused marketing campaign to educate our consumers and connect them directly to ag producers and makers locally. The campaign has featured seasonal and holiday-based ads digitally, like Think Spring in March, which highlighted where to source your Easter meal, in May, getting your garden ready, and Mother's Day, and also how to where to source all of your food for your Memorial Day picnic. So those digital ads have been running through Google, Facebook, and Reading Eagle, and have really yielded incredible results, as you can see on the screen. And we've been working with Strunk Media to execute on that campaign. And the Chamber Alliance through Greater Berks Development Fund serves the ag industry through ag financing. Between January and March, there were 4 Pennsylvania Industrial Development Authority loans, also known as PETA, as some of us may know. There were 4 loans submitted, and there are 3 in the pipeline, totaling over $400,000. And almost all the financing work that we undertake, including CHIRP, which I'm going to talk about next, support existing businesses and small businesses in Berks County. So the COVID Hospitality Industry Recovery Program, or CHIRP, one of our favorite acronyms so far in the economic development world, has been a wonderful way to support one of the harder hit industries in our community. And it's really been our pleasure to partner with the county commissioners to design, implement, and administer the grant program. We just completed round 2, and the final approvals are still being reviewed for that grouping of businesses. One of the groups that we partnered with for CHIRP outreach and technical assistance was the Berks County Latino Chamber of Commerce. In addition to the CHIRP partnership, meetings with various stakeholders and organizations serving the Latino business community have been held to create and formalize a Latino business outreach network. A memorandum of understanding has been drafted with the signature process being currently underway. Through funding from the Why I'm Missing Foundation, the Berks County Latino Chamber of Commerce will provide a staff person to lead the work of this Latino business outreach network. So talked about site selection and attraction, but just as important as our location is our most important asset is our people who make up the workforce and talent in our community. And the ability to successfully attract and retain talent in Berks County is critical to our continued economic development growth. And we are addressing talent attraction and retention on a few fronts, like Meet Greater Reading, a toolkit to highlight the Greater Reading community as a great place to live, learn, work, and play. In addition, we are working with existing local companies to partner on addressing solutions and those challenges and opportunities. In January of 2021, GRCA was notified that the Next Gen grant totaling $106,000 was reauthorized by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It was a little bit of short notice because the grant is to end at the end of this month, although that might be extended. GRCA retained Mary Beth DiVincenzo. She's recently retired from the Chester County Economic Development Council to assist with the restructuring of the Advanced Manufacturing Industry Partnership, or AMIP, and to help develop sustainability going forward. And a meeting with this industrial partnership was held on April 15th. We had 30 attendees, and next steps include creating an action teams. We have a meeting coming up on the 10th, and we are considering additional industrial partnerships to be formed in our community. So we have undertaken a lot of real estate work, and it's been really robust in 2021. The majority of our real estate work over the last 12 to 18 months has been in support of existing Berks County companies. And this is just sort of a sampling of some of those development projects that total over 107 acres across several municipalities. A recent real estate transaction included the sale of 40 acres in Burke Township to UGI in 2018 to construct their training center, which is expected to open this fall. And I always like to talk about the fact that the Greater Berks Development Fund owns 3 significant properties in downtown Reading as part of the real estate portfolio. So this interesting looking map, originally created by the Berks County Planning Commission, is actually the new enterprise zone map that was submitted to DCED in April. And earlier this year, we partnered for the Center for Excellence in Local Government and the Berks County Industrial Development Authority to convene a group of municipalities, asking them to consider participation in the Keystone Enterprise Zone. And so the application to DCED included the city of Reading, Exeter, Muhlenberg, Ontelaunee, Creamery, Burn. And we have good news and look forward to sharing that with you soon. But this really plays into our, what we call internally our Total Berks initiative, where we support Berks County municipalities and their economic development efforts. Earlier this year, in partnership with the Berks County Planning Commission, GRCA hosted a virtual meeting with the Main Street communities in Berks County to discuss challenges and opportunities and also outline resources, especially related to COVID. And we're looking forward to co-hosting another meeting with this group in the coming weeks. And this is a picture of Sandy Green in Kutztown, handing a chirp check to the owner of Kutztown, the Kutztown Tavern. Our work with municipalities includes, I did mention the city of Reading, so specific work in the 18th Ward by way of the 18th Wonder, as well as downtown Reading, Hamburg, West Reading, and Boyertown. And just to wrap up the presentation, we are hosting, in partnership with the Reading Berks Association of Realtors and the City of Reading, a walking tour of available properties in downtown Reading on Thursday, June 17th. And we'd welcome any comments or questions at this time. And I also want to thank the commissioners for their support of our economic development work and our economic development investors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aaron and Deb. Any comments or questions from my colleagues?
Just want to thank them for the work that they're doing and for the presentation. Great presentation. Also want to congratulate Deb on her new position, and it's been great working with her and the GRCA team for the CHIRP program. So thank you for all you've done to help get that money out to the restaurants that need it in the area.
So thank you very much, and we also value the relationship, formal relationship, contractual relationship between GRCA and the County of Berks. Moving on in our agenda, I'm going to share my screen. I want to announce that Berks County has been selected as a winner of a NACO, the National Association of Counties 2021 Achievement Award in the category of health. And it is for the Do Your Part, Stop the Spread campaign, website, etc. I want to highlight two people that I think are really key to this effort. Number one, Kim Worley is a local designer. I've known her for a number of years back in my ad agency days. She was the creative director for our ad team. And she stepped forward early on in the pandemic, designed the logo for the county. When we approached her about paying her to design a website, she said, no, I want to do my part and step up. I'll design the website. She designed it on a platform known as Wix that makes it very easy for the county to update. Early on, I was handling the updates, but then that brings us to our second person. And last summer, we hired Berks County's first ever public relations officer in Stephanie Weaver. She took over the campaign efforts, management of the website, and she has taken the effort to a whole new level. And just want to really thank Kim Worley and also Stephanie Weaver for their role in allowing Berks County to be recognized in this way. Again, take a look at the site on your own, doyourpartberks.com, and we're proud to display the NACO Achievement Award winner logo on our home page. With that, we will transition to Brian Gottschall, and as we do each week, Brian will give us an update on the COVID-19 data report for Berks County. Brian Gottschall.
Good morning, Commissioner. Thank you very much. Yes, first week of June, getting into what we all hope will be a great summer with our COVID on the decline. That starts us out with our look at cases and testing. We can see that from the graph, we're kind of back down where we were about the end of September of last year. So as we came out of the summer and our cases were starting to go up, that's about where we're at today with the blue line for our case counts smooth for this last week. We also need to look at our testing, and the good news is that our testing numbers are staying pretty well above our case count. So we are seeing similar positivity over the last couple weeks. As our case count comes down, our positivity has been coming down proportionately. We would, of course, like to see more testing and would continue to encourage folks who have any concerns about COVID exposures or COVID-like symptoms to continue to pursue testing, even though we do see the case counts coming down so that we can continue to accurately monitor that in the community. We do see a little bit of a bump in our hospital numbers, and of course, this is something we want to keep an eye on, but I don't think people should get too excited. As we've said for months now, we need to look at smooth statistics, and therefore seeing a 1-week jump in our hospital numbers is not something that we should be alarmed by, but definitely something we want to keep track of. We, of course, know that our mitigation measures, as ordered by the Commonwealth, are tapering off. We're still under the masking direction until the end of June for those who are unvaccinated. But of course, what we want to be cautious about is, as we see the mitigation measures start to go away, does that result in an increase in what's going on in our community with cases or serious cases? We'll keep tuned to that and keep reporting to folks in ongoing weeks. We are still seeing periodic COVID deaths, not unanticipated, but the good news is that the line is continuing to flatten out, and that's of course what we want to see, while still recognizing that each one of those deaths is an individual and a loss to their family, friends, and the community as a whole. Our vaccine administrations continue to hold steady, with Berks being 9th by number fully vaccinated week over week. We've seen ups, we've seen downs, but we're holding firm around that 9th. We do want to draw attention to the fact, though, that we're one of the largest populated counties in the Commonwealth, and therefore it's not unexpected that by raw numbers we would be in that 9th spot. What we want to focus on, though, is the per capita numbers, and we see that per capita we are 33rd for fully vaccinated and 27th for those with at least the first dose as of May 28th. And we, of course, would like to see those numbers come up. It says that per person in Berks County, we're not doing as well as some other counties in the Commonwealth, and we would like to kind of get ahead of that race. When we look at the CDC data for the number of individuals fully vaccinated in both Pennsylvania and Berks County, we see that Pennsylvania is at about 55% and Berks County is at about 47%. Of course, the goal that has been set is 70%. Previously, that goal had two purposes. Number one, it is the accepted number that has been offered out by public health professionals for herd immunity, but it was also the number that the governor set for the alleviating of the mask mandate fully in the Commonwealth. There was an announcement in this last week that said that the governor has now set a clear date for that. June 28th is the date, and that's based on the fact that although we're only at 55% fully vaccinated in the Commonwealth, when you look at the number of people statewide who have received at least their first dose, we have crossed that 70% threshold. So that means that even those who are 4 weeks out from their second dose, by the end of June, they will have gotten their second dose. So that projects that we will cross the 70% threshold by the end of June statewide. Berks County, not quite on track to get to that same goal. And we would hope that folks would still recognize that although alleviating ourselves of the masking mandate is an important thing for all of us, I know I want to see my daughter not have to be masked in public. We also have that herd immunity goal to realize, and therefore there is still work that Berks Countyans can do. We need about 45,000 new folks over the age of 18 to step up. We put our asterisk there because the way the data is offered, we have a little variable there for the 18 and 19-year-olds, but it's around 45,000 new residents 18 plus we would need to have step up and get involved in the process in order to get to our 70% goal in Berks County. The way we can do that, we can go to doyourpartberks.com. Commissioner Leinbach just featured the website where we can find information about various clinics and locations offering vaccine around Berks County. If you don't have easy access to the web, you can call our call center and they can help guide you to one of those locations. Included in that, of course, is the county and Berks Community Health Center sponsored clinic that Commissioner Barnhart will give some data on in a little bit. But we do want to encourage folks to think about doing this sooner rather than later, both at the clinic as well as in the homebound effort. We would like to begin saying that we're on the downside of that. We don't want to close anything down while there's still a community need out there, but we would also hope that folks in the community who have that need are going to act on that sooner rather than later, particularly that homebound piece. If you are a caretaker or you yourself are truly homebound, we would ask that you reach out to the 888 number on the screen and advise the call receiver of the fact that you need that service so that we can begin working to get our community health folks out into the field, into your house to get you provided your vaccine. With that, I'm going to turn it back to you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate, as always, your detailed and helpful COVID-19 report. At this time, I'm going to recognize my colleague, Commissioner Kevin Barnhart. He's going to give us an update on Coe County Wellness Contact Tracing, as well as the Berks Cares Vaccination Clinic. Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach, and thank you, Brian, for your information. We're going to bring up the screen. The Berks Cares Vaccine Center, again, is available at the North Reading Plaza in Muhlenberg Township with free bus service on both routes 1 and 3, and also shared ride, as well as Uber and Lyft will take you there back and forth for free. Vaccine Center has all 3 available: the Pfizer, which is available for the 12 to 15 age group, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, which is the one-shot dose. And the hours are listed. So today from 7 to 6, tomorrow from 8 to 2, and then Saturday from 8 to 12. And then as well, you can see the hours for next week. Again, strongly encourage you to call the 888-712-2772 number. We do accept walk-ins, but we do prefer that you schedule. That way it's much more of an orderly process. So it's there, it's available. Let's get that number up to 70+% here in Berks County. Thank you for everyone who is stepping up and doing that process. Under Coe County Wellness, our contracted contact tracer, I have a 2-week report. The week of May 19th to May 26th was 237 new contacts for a total so far of 15,316. And down are 17 line lists. So look at that. About 2 months ago, we were at, I think, almost 500 to 600 new contacts. This past week, May 26th to June 2nd, there was 196 new contacts, which takes the total of 15,512 and 13 line lists. So much the same as the graphs that Brian showed. The trends are in the positive direction. So are the contact tracing and those line lists in our community. Let's keep up the good effort, everyone. Let's get out and get vaccine if you certainly qualify. Let's get vaccinated. Let's get back to normal. Let's reopen Berks County in a more prosperous way than we were before. So thank you very much for your time and effort today. And I need to sign off. Hopefully, I'll be back on before the meeting's over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart. We will move now into the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections for the meeting minutes for May 27th and the meeting for June the 1st? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We did have 2 executive sessions, one on June the 1st dealing with personnel, and one on June the 2nd with personnel and litigation. Continuing on to our agenda, Mary, is there any public comment on specific agenda items?
I don't believe there is.
Thank you.
One question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
There was an additional comment, and I just scrolled down to it, and it is an addendum agenda question. It's about the letter of support to Senator Bob Casey Jr. Is that one letter for all of those different projects? Is there an initiative or grant, excuse me, that he is using to address all of those various projects?
Okay, I believe, and Pam Shupp is on as well as some others, but I believe this has to do with a funding request for the passenger rail study. We already did this through our congressional delegation, our House delegation, and this was done through Senator Casey's office. Pam Shupp Menet, is that correct? I'm looking.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, in regard to the submissions to Casey's office?
Yes.
I didn't really understand. Is the question, is one better than the other?
No, the question is, what was the support letter to Senator Casey about? Is it about all these projects?
I'm so sorry. Each letter was an individual letter. We specifically provided support letters to Senator Casey for the passenger rail service. We were also requested to provide support letters for the Wyomissing Public Works Building, which we had previously provided a support letter to, and then also for some downtown projects by developer Alan Schuman. So we were requested for all three of those as support letters, Commissioner.
Yeah, and they go to different places. This is something new. And since we have Pam here, in Pam's role with economic development, in the past, these would come to commissioners, and depending on the commissioner's connection with the particular organization, how well they knew them, we supported some, we didn't support others. Pam is going through a much more thorough process, making recommendations to the commissioners, and then handling these in one action in a meeting. So that's why you have multiple ones, not because they're related to each other in any way, but because they are requests and they've been reviewed by Pam and the recommendation then given to the county commissioners. Okay, good question from Jess Royer in Spring Township. Moving in to the agenda, item 1, authorizing under that Budget Department, adopt a resolution authorizing 2020 appropriations in the amount of $159,548 and 2021 budget transfers in the amount of $24,750 and 2021 appropriations in the amount of $1,610,813 per listing dated June 1 of 2021. We have one item listed under Human Resources, authorize the appointment of Emily Wengolo to Deputy Director, Department of Agriculture. There are several items listed under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution ratifying, confirming, and approving execution of the following letters of support. Item 1, Senator Bob Casey Jr., local transport, etc., and we talk about that. And item 2, Gregory Welker, Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, the Boyertown Rail Bike Downtown Green Space effort. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing A. Dennis Adams, Berks County Treasurer, to execute an addendum selection of cash management services to the master agreement between Santander Bank and the County of Berks for the selection of a cash management service. Item C, adopt a resolution amending a prior resolution by modifying restrictions on employee travel as follows. The restrictions on employee travel outlined within the prior resolution shall be lifted, provided that traveling employees are still required to adhere to all current CDC, DOH guidelines and any restrictions put in place by the venue and jurisdiction being traveled to. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute a lease agreement with the United States Department of Agriculture for office space located in the Berks County Agricultural Building. The lease term is for a 3-year term beginning January 1 of 2022 through December 31st of 2024 at the rate of $4,739.41 per month. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the sub-recipient grant agreement between the County of Berks and the Redevelopment Authority of the County of Berks to administer the Berks County Emergency Rental Assistance Program funding in the amount of $12,656,511.90 and any and all required documents. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of the project modification request and amendment to the Berks County Jail System Vivitrol Program grant. The amendment reallocates funds not spent in 2020 to 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of the following members of the Berks County Workforce Development Board for 3-year terms beginning July 1 of 2021 to June 30th of 2024. Item 1, Christy Gage Linderman, Chief Operating Officer, Gage Personnel Employment Services. Item 2, Deborah A. Antol, Director of Human Services, Sweet Streets Desserts, Inc. Item 3, Marianne Brown Egolf, General Manager, Pet Specialty Division and Grass Seed Division, FM Brown Sons. Item 4, Aurea Bradley, Director of Literacy Programs, Reading Area Community College. Item 5, Karen A. Campbell, PhD, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Albright College. And item 6, John M. DeVere, Principal, Education and Training Solutions, LLC. And then item H, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Rick Almus, VP of Operations and COO, Centro Hispano Daniel Torres, to the Berks County Workforce Development Board for a term beginning July 1 of 2021 to June 30th of 2024. Item 2, a motion authorizing execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the attached listing dated June the 1st of 2021. There are a total of 5 contracts, 1 with the Area Agency on Aging, 3 with CareerLink, and 1 with Tax Claim. And then item 3, a motion to ratify and confirm payments as set forth on the Controller's Office voucher listing dated June the 1st of 2021, and the payment of electronic transfers and employee payroll.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I will second the motion. The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. With that, we'll move to our treasurer's report. And with the treasurer's report, we have Dennis Adams, our county treasurer.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have an opening balance today of $344,161.63. A balance to clear of $3,256,691.72, leaving us with a general fund balance today of $243,087,469.91.
Thank you very much, Dennis. We'll go now to our county controller, Sandy Graffius, with the controller's report.
Good morning, gentlemen. Okay, we have total cash disbursement. That's easy for me to say. Total cash disbursements of $3,034,050.94, and there was no payroll.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Sandy. We'll move now to Ron Seaman with the CAO report.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's nothing to report at this time.
Thank you very much. And with that, we will move to commissioners' reports, and we will begin with Commissioner Michael Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Want to congratulate Stephanie Weaver for the work she's done with the Do Your Part Berks website. She's done a great job on that, and the award is greatly deserved. So Stephanie, thank you, not only for the work that you do with Do Your Part, but for all the work that you do here for the county. I know you came in at a tough time, and the job is very time consuming for you, and you've always been there. You've always done great work. So thank you, and I look forward to continue to working with you in the future here. Second is the Berks Books Bonanza, which was going through June 30th, the collection of books due to the overwhelming support and generosity from the Burke County community. The Berks Book Bonanza must shorten the collection period for donations to June the 9th. So if you do have books that you want to donate, the last day is June the 9th, and they're accepted at the drop-off locations between Five Below and the former Bonton entrance on Mondays and Tuesday mornings from 9:30 to 12 noon and Wednesday evenings from 6 to 7:30 p.m. You can drop them off there. That's at the Berkshire Mall. Again, June 9th is the last day. If you want more information on it, or you can go to berksbooksbonanza.org. Again, berksbookbonanza.org. Also remember, tomorrow the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum 30th Annual World War II weekend starts. So if you are in the area, please drop by. It's at the Reading Airport. For more information, you can go to www.maam.org. Again, that's maam.org. And if I'm not sure if Commissioner Leinbach's going to sing this year, but in prior years he has sung there, so he'll let you know if he will be singing this year or not. That's all I have. Back to you.
Well, if you want to scare people away from World War II weekend, tell them that I'm going to be singing. I am not, for the record, going to be singing. I will be speaking briefly, both Friday evening and Saturday evening. World War II weekend is a huge event, and not unlike many other communities, this event was canceled last year. And for the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum that puts this on, along with Jim Swope has been the lead organizer of World War II weekend since its inception. This was a big hit financially last year. And I can tell you, I've talked to Jim and the folks over at Mid-Atlantic Air Museum. They are very excited about this event this weekend. Please come out. But Friday night and Saturday night are unique evening events. Most of the displays close either 5 or 5:30 each evening. But on these two evenings, they bring in 2 local dance bands, and I'm not sure which one is which night. One is Swing Fever, one is Let's Dance. They both are playing World War II era music, and you'll have reenactors inside the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum hangar dancing to the music of the World War II era. It is really a great time. I encourage people to bring out your family, look at all the different displays, all of the reenactors. I know we have a couple at our church that have been involved in the World War II reenacting. But you'll see reenactors, not just Americans. There are people there each year with German, with Russian, Filipino, Japanese, Australian. A number of different countries are represented, and a lot of amazing equipment, as well as airplanes and planes that fly and do demonstrations. If you have a little bit of extra money, a number of those planes also offer flights for those that are willing to be paying customers. So I would strongly endorse World War II weekend. Secondly, I want to compliment many of our communities who had Memorial Day services on Monday. I had the privilege of participating in the service at Leesport Borough at the playground. It was a very impressive program. I learned a lot about some of the local heroes in the Leesport area. The late mayor was one of the people that they talked about, Mayor Sandville. And I just encourage people, when Memorial Day comes around, find an event in your local community and attend. You'll be amazed what you're able to learn as a result of that experience. The last item I'm going to touch on is Kercher Creek. I want to highlight because, again, there is some misinformation out there. I want to reiterate the Kercher Creek facts. The county was prepared to sign a 20-year agreement with the Fish and Boat Commission that would have paid them $20,000 a year. However, one of the requirements that we put in place is that we needed to be indemnified against any pre-existing environmental issues. Now, why did we do that? Because surprisingly to us, in the last cleanup effort, we as a county were held partially responsible for the battery casing issue that we had nothing to do with. And we highlighted to Fish and Boat that we have tenants and we would never think for a moment to hold them accountable for some pre-existing environmental condition. The long and the short of it was the legal team for Fish and Boat, after several years of negotiations, told us they absolutely would not indemnify the county, and so the county walked away. It is not a poverty issue, as some have pointed out or claimed. It is a responsibility issue. We were not going to take on potential financial risks for the taxpayers of Berks County. We, as the county, recently, and by recently, within the last 6 to 8 months, in conversations with EPA around surrounding some other areas, Laureldale, etc., asked for specific response to the conditions of the Kercher Creek Park. We've talked to several individuals, but Kai Doa is the EPA project manager that has followed up with us on several occasions. I see Commissioner Barnhart is back with us, so I'm going to transition this to him by giving him credit for reaching out, I would say within the last couple of months, to Rick Kaufman. Rick Kaufman is a member of the board of the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. He is also a resident of Berks County. And Commissioner Barnhart and I know Rick because he used to be the regional director for Penn State Extension, and he served out of the Berks County Ag Center. As a result of that meeting, there are some potential changes in the relationship, and I say potential, and I'm going to transition it over to Commissioner Barnhart to give us the latest information.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. And I guess you don't need my vote. I guess you got 2-0 to support the agenda.
Yes, we did.
Well, we will be having a meeting with Fish and Boat and their representatives in the coming days. And I just want to caution everyone who are friends of Kercher Creek that it's beyond what Kai Do indicated in his email was only that impacted area which was remediated twice, the 1.5 acres. This whole indemnification and everything dealt with the entire tract of Kercher Creek, which is hundreds of acres. And we don't know what's under the ground in various parts of that area. And that would have been our responsibility in partnership with Fish and Boat if another battery casing dump site is found or lead has been found somewhere in that park, becomes our responsibility. So it wasn't just that area. Kai was speaking specifically, and again, this isn't his project either. He reached back to other people at EPA to indicate that, as far as we're concerned, the area that was covered over with several inches of dirt is okay. They said that back in the late 90s when it had to be covered up, and they're saying that again. So I said this the other week, and we're here for all of the tax-paying residents of Berks County and beyond, and we have to be very mindful of having that sort of exposure and liability for the taxpayers, because if there is another lead exposure there, and we are then again in an agreement with Fish and Boat, we become liable. So it's not as easy as an email, which I indicated, said, EPA's okay with the cleanup, doesn't just simply say, hey, let's move back into Kercher Creek. It's not our park. We had a 40+ agreement with Fish and Boat. We did, in fact, the county made it into a park because primarily Fish and Boat is more about boating and fishing. But that park was created by the efforts of our Park and Recreation group. And I have to agree, it's a gorgeous, beautiful park. And it's a shame what has happened to it. But the bottom line is that we could not hold our taxpayers accountable for ongoing expenses, which Fish and Boat did not want to legally indemnify us from. So hopefully we'll be encouraged by the meeting. There is new leadership there, along with Rick Kaufman and their executive director and legal. And we want to find out from them. They have to tell us something earth-shattering or something critically different than we learned a couple of years ago. Commissioner Leinbach.
Yeah, if I can just jump in, two things. One, I did meet the new lead for Fish and Boat along with Rick Kaufman at a recent ribbon cutting on the Schuylkill River. And Rick specifically indicated to me that they have had a change of heart on this issue, and they look forward to speaking with the county. Secondly, I know that there's been some confusion on was this just about the lead. Again, the language that we required is pre-existing environmental issues. Keep in mind, we're focused on lead batteries right now, but you can have a property where you go to put in a foundation for a skate park, and you start digging, and all of a sudden you hit some drums that nobody knew were there. They're buried. We don't want to be held responsible for a property, A, that we don't own, we never owned, and B, that we don't have access to that kind of information. So that is the basis of the very specific indemnification requirement, indemnifying the county against any pre-existing environmental issues. And Commissioner Barnhart is right. We actually challenged the methodology that was used to mitigate this area of the lead contamination because of what happened in '99. '99, they did basically the same thing. And because this is in a wooded area with trees, and roots and trees grow, and just like the roots of a tree can break up a sidewalk, they can do the same thing to bring battery casings back up. One of the recommendations we made is fence off the entire area and close it to any public access. Prior leadership at Fish and Boat, and I don't know where DEP was, they turned that down. I still think that that would have been a better solution. The ultimate solution that was unaffordable would have been to dig out the entire area and get all of the battery casings out. That didn't happen in '99, and that did not happen this time either. So it's important for people to understand the facts surrounding Kercher Creek. I live up there. I've boated with my wife, and I have gone in our canoe since the park has been closed. And prior to that, we went up there often. It was a beautiful little park in northern Berks County, used heavily by the people that live in that area. So I understand the value. I loved it. It was accessible, easy to get to. For me, probably 5 miles, because I'm 3 miles west of Hamburg. So I understand the value and I support it, but we have to act responsibly, and that's what we're doing. And we're acting in a proactive way.
Yeah, I too want to encourage people that this is not an easy process. It's something we're open to exploring with Fish and Boat. So it not from an email from a representative EPA doesn't simply give us, hey, let's repopulate the park. Let's go back to where we were before. It's much more involved in that, and I apologize for dragging this on, but it is very, there are critical components to this effort that simply aren't, hey, here's an email from EPA. Let's go back to normal. It's not that simple.
Okay, any other comments, Commissioner Barnhart, since we skipped you and you are back?
Actually, I'm good. I had a great call with the speaker, Brian Cutler, about mental health funding for the community support. So he certainly is in favor. He said, I have to talk to the Senate. So
Well, thank you
he said
very
the
much.
House is on board. I got to talk to the Senate.
I think
But
you
I did also talk to him about the pre-canvassing for elections. And he completely understands. He's never been opposed to it. I said it's the one thing that CCAP truly was pushing for is pre-canvassing of the mail-in and absentee ballots. Not all. I said we're not at the political level. I know Harrisburg is very partisan and political, but when it comes to counties running elections, we just want to know what the rules are and what the parameters are, and literally run that mail-in absentee ballot process prior to election day. So we're not running two elections on the same day. We're running one or at least getting the bulk of one done prior to the actual polls opening. I said it took about 45 additional people beyond our normal staff to just do that function. It would be nice to do that prior to the election.
And there were two issues, the deadlines and the pre-canvassing were the two issues.
Yep.
Not that there's nothing else that needs to be addressed,
No.
but were those the two number one issues? And hopefully they do get addressed. I think you were on with Leslie Oshie, Commissioner from Butler County. So I appreciate both of you. And this is how CCAP works. You were in essence representing the Democrat county leaders, Leslie Oshie representing the Republican leaders, so that when we speak, they understand this is not a partisan, just the Democratic commissioners support this, or just the Republican commissioners support this, that we speak as one voice on these important issues. So thank you, Commissioner.
On the mental health side, we're trying to establish the funding that was cut back in 2012. It was a total of $48 million. We're asking for a replacement of $28 million and then a 3% cost of living adjustment beyond that, because these are community mental health needs that are really just going to be exploding in the next few months as things go back to normal, especially with our adolescents and our young people with the on again, off again school, the hybrid school. There's a lot of mental issues, trauma and things out there in the community we need to deal with, and we need the funds to do it.
Absolutely. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
With that, we will see if any row officers have comment.
Yeah, I have one for you.
Dennis Adams and then Sandy.
We are June 16th going to implement a new online real estate tax auction software. And it's been done with the Sheriff's Department, so it's validated. We should have the details and the instructions out on the web over the weekend so people can start and get the information they need to bid on the auction. The web's, of course, www.countyofberks.com/TCB sales. And we have great hopes for the software to be able to do a lot of the work that we had to do manually.
Dennis, I would suggest that maybe in your next report, either you or someone from your office could provide some additional details in our commissioners meeting. I think that's a great thing. You and I have talked about it. It's a very good step to make things more efficient, not just in your office, but it will be better for the people that need to utilize those services.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can do that next Thursday and put together a little piece for you. We'll make sure it gets into the agenda.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandy Graffius, comment.
I want to tell everybody, thank you for your cooperation with the debit cards. We gave out 1,147 debit cards to the election workers. We had some bumps in the road. I'm not going to kid you guys. However, we're now down to 258 that have not been activated. So out of 1,147, we have 258 not activated. If anybody's having any trouble getting their cards activated, please call me at my office. It's 610-478-6150 and just ask to talk to me and I'll deal directly with you. I'm going to start calling the folks who haven't activated their cards yet to see if they just haven't spent them or if they're having problems. But please let me know. It's very, very successful, and I know it was a new thing for a bunch of people, and so there were some learning curves. But in the fall, we're going to be doing more training so that our election workers are very familiar with how to activate their debit cards.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Any other comments from our row officers? Okay, with that, we will move to public comment. And again, I'll recognize my executive assistant, Mary Buer, to read the public comment.
Thank you. The Gay Pride from Linda Brancadora, Bern Township. The Gay Pride flag was raised yesterday at City Hall. This is supposed to represent unity, etc., etc. I say, where is the white pride flag? Where is the Hispanic flag? Why do these groups get special recognition and the rest of us don't? That's not unity. Let there be individual lifestyles. Yes, that's okay. But special attention, special days, special events, special flags, absolutely not. This is not unity. This is separating those of us that are not XYZs. I am insulted that these groups get all of this special attention and the majority of us get diddly squat. Remember, everyone is American and all have the same opportunities, same rules, same everything. But some think they deserve more than the rest of us, and they get it. I don't agree with all this at all. And to promote it on our government buildings is shameful. Take it down. It offends me. Fred Zencraft Sr., Berkshire Heights. A free and fair November 3rd, 2020 election would have continued and improved upon President Donald Trump's accomplishments, some of which follow. Massive deregulation, ending the regulatory assault on American businesses and workers. Established the governor's initiative on regulatory innovation to reduce outdated regulations at the state, local, and tribal levels. Signed an executive order to make it easier for business to offer retirement plans. Signed 2 executive orders to increase transparency in federal agencies and protect Americans and their small businesses from administrative abuse. Modernized the National Environmental Policy Act for the first time in over 40 years. Reduced approval times for major infrastructure projects from 10 or more years down to 2 years or less. Helped community banks by signing legislation that rolled back costly provisions of Dodd-Frank. Established the White House Council on eliminating regulatory barriers to affordable housing to bring down housing costs. Removed regulations that threaten the development of a strong and stable internet. Eased and simplified restrictions on rocket launches, helping to spur commercial investment in space projects. Published a whole of government strategy focused on ensuring American leadership in automated vehicle technology. Streamlined energy efficient regulations for American families and businesses, including preserving affordable light bulbs, enhancing the utility of shower heads, and enabling greater time savings with dishwashers. The current administrative policies will have a negative impact on these positive accomplishments to the detriment of our posterity. Thank you. Dwight Wegman, Laurel Heidelberg Township. It is well-known fact that Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook gave $420 million in 2020 to 2 different organizations that gave money to counties to run the November 2020 election. The question is, 1, did Berks County receive any of this money? 2, if so, how much money was Berks County given? And 3, how was that money budgeted? Louise Grimm, why I'm missing. Good morning, commissioners. It has been a while since we have heard anything about the Family Detention Center. What has been done about repurposing the building other than incarcerating women asylum seekers? Is the staff that was employed to serve the facility still being paid? I have also read with great concern, as I am sure you all have, the recent report published in the Red Eagle of the lead contamination affecting a large number of our children in the city of Reading, mostly in disadvantaged areas. These children, through no fault of their own, are being exposed to a very toxic substance that will permanently affect their brains and lead to a lifetime of mental disorders and inability to realize their potential. Whether we live in Reading or not, these are our children, and the powers to be must all work together to address this problem and protect them. How can you as Berks County Commissioners contribute to a solution to this dangerous and egregious situation in our midst? Thank you in advance for your answers to both queries. Tim Mazaika from Hamburg. Commissioners, we've addressed this comment, but I will go ahead and read that. Now that the EPA has signed off on the safety of reopening Kercher Creek Park, our volunteer group, Friends of Kercher Creek, encourages Berks County Commissioners to engage the PA Fish and Boat Commission in an effort to do so. The EPA stated, and this is a quote, "Now that the soil contamination has been addressed, the stakeholders agreed that Kercher Creek Park can safely be reopened to the public. The decision to reopen the park lies with Berks County." End of quote. If commissioners have any questions about the environmental cleanup at Kercher Creek Park, please contact Kai Amdoa, EPA Project Manager, US EPA. As a lessee of Berks County would be no more responsible for any future cleanup. That's like a landlord telling a renter that they're responsible for cleaning up lead paint in their apartment. The loss of Kercher Creek Park and its amenities have created a quality of life issue loss for Berks County residents. Over the past 7 years, our group has attempted to keep the park side somewhat usable. Not one time have I met anyone with anything good to say about the way it has been handled. The recent developments and gobbling up of farmland in nearby Tilden Township for the sake of accommodating various business interests does nothing to enhance the lives of those living in the area. In fact, when businesses are lured with tax breaks, the residents bear the brunt of making up for the shortfalls. In fact, since the giveaways to Cabela's, there has been little to no trickle-down relief to businesses in downtown Hamburg. Tilden Ridge is not quality of life. It's an exit off of an interstate. Once called the gem of Berks County by Commissioner Leimbach, residents and voters have been waiting since 2014 for this issue to be resolved. While the Fish and Boat Commission states they are not in the park business, Berks County is. Millions of dollars have been poured into the acquisition and upgrades of Antietam, while Kercher Creek has been ignored and left to deteriorate. We wonder what the county's response will be when battery casings are found at Antietam. As a county-wide problem, it's only a matter of time. The constant repetitiveness of indemnification regarding Kercher Creek Park has morphed into a smokescreen for the majority who've watched this situation since 2014. If this is merely an issue of the county being broke and not able to afford it, please be publicly honest about that with taxpayers and voters. Now that the EPA has signed off on the safety at Kercher Creek Park, Berks County representatives have new leverage in their dispute with Fish and Boat. We encourage thoughtful and serious discussions by both parties and a cooperative restoration of Kercher Creek Park to the beauty it once held. Sincerely, Friends of Kercher Creek. John James, Burnville. Regarding comments by Linda B. and Fred Z., perhaps this would be a good time to remind participants of Commissioner Leimbach's statement of 2 weeks ago that these meetings are intended to discuss County of Berks business and not a time to advance your own agendas, biases, and propaganda. And that is the end of the comments in the Q&A.
Thank you, Mary. At this time,
You're muted.
Yep, I see. I'm not sure that. Okay, at this time, our comments are closed, and I will open up if my colleagues have any additional comments they would like to make.
I would, Commissioner Leimbach, just on the question about lead paint in the city of Reading. I was referenced an article in the paper. I'm actually quoted in that article because I was on that call. The call was really generated by the high incidence of youth violence and criminality if they are impacted by lead. But my comments there were genuine because the city is receiving about 60-some million dollars in rescue funds. We're receiving $84 million in rescue funds from the federal government. And one of the eligible services addressing health disparities and the social determinants of health, including community health workers, public benefits navigators, and remediation of lead paint or other lead hazards, and community violence intervention programs. I mentioned this on the call, and Jamal Abdallah, Community Development Director at the City of Reading, they are working through their Community Development Office. We're meeting tomorrow with our Redevelopment Authority as well as Habitat for Humanity to discuss potential use of rescue dollars for lead remediation in the surrounding municipalities. We have a lot of aging structures in some of our older boroughs and townships. So this is something we're going to see if, in fact, it rises to the level in the community. So the city certainly is taking this very seriously and is undertaking it through the Community Development Office. We may be coming back to my colleagues at some point as part of the rescue money and the community support piece, making a recommendation regarding lead paint remediation in our municipalities in Berks County. So it is a serious effort, and look forward to helping in this endeavor. And the request about the money that came from Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, I get them mixed up. The billionaires I get mixed up. For Mark Zuckerberg, I think that's much more of a right to know request. The details would be more through a request for right to know. Thank you. That's all I have, Commissioner Linebaugh.
Okay. And Dwight, the answer is yes, we did. We were pretty public about it. It was used appropriately. If you want the details, contact our right to know officer, and you should be able to get that information on the details surrounding that item. If there are no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I have a comment. Yeah, I just want to thank you and Commissioner Barnhart for the comments and the clarifications on Kercher Park. This goes back way before my time here, and think that the comments were very appropriate, clearing some misinformation that's out there. And I also want to thank you for protecting the county taxpayers by not accepting any potential liability from Fish and Boat, because if you would have, the county would have had the park, but if something would have happened and the county would have been responsible, then the people would have said, well, why didn't you take more steps to protect the county and the taxpayers from possible litigation? So thank you for the clearing up for the misinformation, sharing what you did, and also back when you had to make the decision of not signing that lease, that you did that looking at making sure that the county and the taxpayers were protected.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
The meeting stands adjourned.